In the year 2147, humans had only just started to leave their solar system. They had built good ships with strong engines and clear windows to look at the stars. The biggest ship for exploration was called the Endeavour. Its captain was John Smith, a quiet man from Texas who liked facts more than big words. John was 42 years old. He had short brown hair and calm blue eyes. He always spoke slowly and clearly. His crew liked him because he never shouted, even when things went wrong. On this trip, the Endeavour carried 32 people, scientists, engineers, and a few soldiers. They were looking for new planets that could hold life or resources. One day, while the ship moved slowly near a small red star, the alarms started to ring. Everyone ran to their stations. On the big screen at the front of the bridge, hundreds of strange ships appeared. They were long and sharp, like black needles. Lights blinked along their sides, in angry red and green colors. John stood up from his chair. "Open a channel," he said to the communications officer, a young woman named Emily Carter. Emily nodded and pressed some buttons. A strange sound came through the speakers, clicks and sharp buzzes. Then a translator turned it into English. A deep voice spoke. "This is the Krell Dominion. You have entered claimed space. State your species and purpose." John took a slow breath. "This is Captain John Smith of the United Earthship Endeavour. We are human. We come in peace to explore and learn." Silence followed. Then the same voice answered, colder now. "Humans, we have heard of your kind. Young, weak, small. You will now listen." The screen changed. A huge insect-like creature appeared. Its body was covered in hard black plates. 6 thin legs held it up. 4 arms moved fast. Its face had many small eyes and sharp mouth parts that clicked when it talked. This was High Commander Vexstar of the Krell. "You will give us all your technology," Vexstar said. "You will send your best ships to our worlds. You will become part of our dominion as workers. If you refuse, we will take your planets by force." On the bridge, people looked at each other. Some faces turned pale. Others became hard with anger. John kept his voice steady. "We do not want war. We want to be friends, trade, learn from each other, but we will not give up our freedom." Vexstar made a sound like dry leaves rubbing together. It was their way of laughing. "Freedom? You speak like children. Look at our fleet." The screen showed more ships, hundreds, maybe thousands. They formed perfect lines. Their weapons glowed with blue energy. "You have 1 ship," Vexstar continued. "We have 50 times your number here alone. Our empire has 10,000 worlds. Your kind has how many? You are nothing." John looked at his first officer, Robert Hayes. Robert was tall, with dark skin and a short beard. He gave John a small nod. They had talked about this before. If aliens came with threats, do not show fear. John turned back to the screen. "We are small, yes, but we do not bow to threats. We ask again, let us talk as equals." Vexstar's eyes narrowed. "Equals? No. You will learn your place." Without warning, a bright blue beam shot from one of the Krell ships. It hit the Endeavour on the side. The whole ship shook hard. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed again. People grabbed chairs to stay on their feet. "Engines offline," someone shouted from engineering. "Shields at 30%, another voice called. John stayed calm. "Damage report." "Main drive is gone," Roberts said. "We can't run. Weapons are still good, but we're 1 against many." Vexstar was watching them like a bug watches food. "We will broadcast this," Vexstar said. "All species in the galaxy will see how easily humans break. Your world will be next. Prepare." The screen went dark. The Krell ship stayed in place, watching. Inside the Endeavour, people were quiet. They knew what this meant. Earth was far away, months of travel even at full speed. Help would not come in time. John walked to the center of the bridge. Everyone looked at him. "We are not dead yet," he said. "Send a full recording of this meeting to Earth. Use the fastest drone we have. Add my personal message." He sat at his station and started to speak. "To President Lisa Johnson and the people of Earth. We met the Krell Dominion today. They demanded our surrender. We said no. They damaged our ship and planned to come for our home. We cannot fight them here. But we can warn you. They think we are weak. They think we will give up. They are wrong. We have one chance. We must show them that humans do not break easily. Build what you need. Prepare what you can. If they come, make them remember this day. We will try to get home. If we don't make it, know that we stood tall. John Smith, Captain Endeavor." He stopped recording. The small drone was launched. It shot away fast, heading toward Earth. John looked around the bridge. "We still have life support. We still have weapons. We still have each other. Let's get this ship moving again. Slowly, carefully, we head for home." Emily Carter raised her hand. "Sir, what if they follow us?" John gave a small smile. "Then they will see more of what humans can do." Outside, the Krell ships stayed in perfect formation. They did not attack again. They waited. They wanted the galaxy to see the small human ship limp away. They wanted everyone to know that the Krell were strong and humans were nothing. But on the Endeavor, people worked fast. Engineers fixed what they could. Scientists studied the Krell weapons from the short fight. Soldiers checked every gun and missile. In the mess hall later that night, Robert sat with a few others. He held a cup of coffee and looked tired. "They think we're finished," he said. "They think this is over." A young engineer named Brian Lopez shook his head. "They don't know us yet." John walked in. He heard them. "No," he said quietly. "They don't. And that is our advantage." He looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere far away, Earth was waking up to the message. Somewhere far away, people would start to plan. The Krell had made their demand. Humanity had made its choice. And the galaxy would soon learn what happens when you push people who refuse to stay down. The small drone from the Endeavor arrived at Earth after 4 long months. It entered orbit around the blue planet and sent its message down to the main command center in Colorado. The recording played on every screen in the underground bunker. People stopped what they were doing and watched in silence. President Lisa Johnson sat at the head of the long table. She was 51, with short gray hair and sharp green eyes. She had been a teacher before she became a leader. Now she listened to Captain John Smith's calm voice explain the threat. When the recording ended, the room stayed quiet for a full minute. Lisa stood up slowly. "They think we are nothing," she said. "They think we will hand over everything because they have more ships. They are wrong." She looked around the table. There were generals, scientists, factory bosses, and young engineers. Everyone had the same look, shock mixed with anger. Admiral Robert Hayes spoke first. He was the same Robert who had stood next to John on the bridge. He had been promoted after he returned home on a small escape pod. His ship had been lost, but he brought back data on the Krell weapons. "We cannot fight them ship to ship," Robert said. "Not yet. Their fleet is too big. Their energy guns can cut through anything we have." But they made one big mistake. He pointed to a map on the wall. It showed the Krell border, far away, deep in their space. "They showed us their strength," he continued. "They showed us how they think. They use big fleets and big displays. They want fear. We will give them something else. We will give them surprise." A scientist named Karen Miller raised her hand. She was 38, with curly brown hair tied back in a simple knot. Karen worked on machines that could build more machines by themselves. Her small robots had already mined asteroids and built space stations without humans touching them. I can help, Karen said. My swarms are small. They are quiet. They can hide in rocks and dust. If we send them out now, they can grow. They can wait. When the time comes, they can hit hard. Lisa nodded. Tell us more. Karen walked to a screen and pulled up pictures. Tiny metal bugs moved across the display. Each one was no bigger than a coin. They ate metal and rock, then made copies of themselves. We changed them a little, she said. Give them better engines. Give them small bombs or sharp pieces to throw. They do not need to fight like soldiers. They just need to be in the right place at the right time. The room started to talk. Ideas came fast. Some wanted big lasers. Others wanted fast missiles. But Robert kept bringing them back to one point. We do not attack first, he said. That makes us look like the bad ones. We wait. We prepare. Then we send one ship. One small ship. We call it peace. They will take it as weakness. That is when we show them we are ready. Lisa listened to every voice. Then she made her decision. We build, she said. We build everything we can. Factories run day and night. Mines work around the clock. Schools teach kids how to make weapons and shields. Everyone helps. This is not just the army's fight. This is everyone's fight. The next day, the president spoke to the whole world. Her face appeared on every phone, every screen, every wall. People of Earth, she began, we have met our first true test from the stars. An empire called the Krell has demanded we give up. They hurt one of our ships. They think we are small and scared. They are wrong. We will not start a war, but we will not run from one either. Today, we start to prepare. We build new ships. We make new tools. We train new teams. If they come for us, they will find a planet that stands together. We are human. We learn fast. We fix things. We do not give up. Remember that. And remember this, when someone tests us, we answer. The speech ended. Cheers came from cities, towns, and farms. People went to work with new energy. Factories that once made cars now made parts for drones. Schools added classes on space combat and engineering. Kids drew pictures of Earthships fighting back. Karen Miller's team grew bigger every day. They worked in big rooms under mountains. Lights never went off. Machines hummed all night. The small robots got faster. They got stronger. They learned to hide better. Some could even change shape to look like normal space junk. Admiral Robert Hayes planned the next step. He picked a ship for the mission. It was old, but reliable. They called it the Harmony. It looked like a simple transport. No big guns, no heavy armor. That was the point. Captain Stephen Brown would lead it. Stephen was 45, tall, with a quiet voice and steady hands. He had flown rescue missions in bad storms. He never lost a person. Now he would fly into the heart of the enemy. Stephen met with Robert one evening in a small office. Why me? Stephen asked. Because you stay calm, Robert said, and because you believe in second chances. This ship is our second chance. It carries peace on the outside. On the inside, it carries our future. Stephen looked at the model of the Harmony. What do I say when I get there? Offer peace, Robert answered. One last time. Ask for no attacks. Ask to talk. They will laugh. They will take the ship. That is when the real work starts. Stephen nodded. And if they kill us, then the galaxy will see what happens next. Preparations moved faster than anyone expected. In 6 months, Earth had more drones than ever before. Kinetic rods, long metal spears with no explosives, just speed, waited in hidden orbits. Quantum shields got stronger. New engines let ships move quicker. Lisa Johnson walked through one factory late at night. Workers looked up and smiled. She stopped at Karen's station. How many can we send? Lisa asked. Millions, Karen said. Small ones first. They hide. They grow. By the time the Krell notice, it will be too late. Lisa put a hand on Karen's shoulder. Good. Keep going. Outside, the stars looked the same, but everything on Earth had changed. People no longer looked up with wonder only. Now they looked up with purpose. The Harmony was almost ready. Stephen Brown walked its empty halls one last time. He touched the walls. He checked the hidden compartments where the probes waited. In his cabin, he wrote a short letter to his daughter back on Earth. "Dear Emma," it said, "if I do not come back, know that I went to keep you safe. We are not fighting for hate. We are fighting for tomorrow. Be strong, be kind, and never let anyone tell you that you are small." He sealed the letter and left it with a friend. The day came. The Harmony lifted off from the moon base. It moved slowly at first, then faster. It headed toward the Krell border. On Earth, people watched the launch on screens. No one cheered loud. They just watched. They knew what was coming. The Krell waited in their space. They had no idea what was hidden inside the small human ship. They had tested humanity once. Now, humanity was ready to answer. The Harmony moved through deep space for 7 months. It was a slow trip. The ship looked plain on the outside, gray metal, no big guns, no bright lights. Inside, it carried Captain Stephen Brown and a crew of 20. They ate simple food, slept in small beds, and talked quietly about home. Stephen spent most days on the bridge. He read old books and checked the hidden compartments. Thousands of small probes waited there. Each one was tiny, dark, and silent. They looked like bits of dust or broken rock. Karen Miller's team had made them perfect for hiding. Every night, Stephen recorded a short message for Earth. He sent them in small bursts so the Krell would not notice. In one message he said, "We are close now. The crew is calm. We know what we must do. If this is the end, it will not be a quiet one." The Harmony finally reached the edge of Krell space. Stars grew thick around them. Then the sensors lit up. Hundreds of Krell ships appeared, sharp, black, and ready. They formed a wall in front of the human ship. Stephen stood up. "Open the channel," he said. The communications officer, a young man named Daniel Torres, pressed the button. The same clicking voice answered. "This is Captain Stephen Brown of the United Earth ship Harmony. We come in peace. We bring an offer from our leaders. We ask for no attacks between our peoples. We ask to talk as equals." Silence came first. Then the translator spoke again. "You come alone, small, weak. You dare speak of equals?" The main screen showed High Commander Vexthar again. His many eyes stared hard. His mouthparts clicked fast. Stephen kept his face calm. "We come with open hands. Let us meet. Let us share words. War helps no one." Vexthar made the dry laugh sound. "Words? We have no need for words from insects. You will be taken. Your ship will be opened. Your secrets will be ours." Before Stephen could answer, tractor beams locked on. The Harmony shook as it was pulled forward. The crew held on to rails. No one panicked. They had practiced this. Krell boarding pods attached to the hull. Doors opened with loud bangs. Tall insect soldiers marched in. They carried long energy rifles. Their legs clicked on the metal floor. Stephen raised his hands. "We will not fight," he said. "Take us where you want." The Krell grabbed the crew and marched them out. They left the Harmony empty. The probes stayed hidden. As the last human left, one small probe slipped free. It floated into space like a piece of trash. Then another, and another. Thousands drifted out slowly. No one noticed. The Krell took the prisoners to their capital world. It was a huge planet covered in tall black towers. Lights glowed in every direction. Ships filled the sky like angry bees. They brought the humans to a large open hall. Thousands of Krell watched from high seats. Vexthar stood on a raised platform. "See the humans," he said to the crowd. "They come to beg. they come to die. Stephen and his crew stood in chains. They looked small next to the tall aliens, but their eyes stayed steady. Vexthar pointed at Stephen. You spoke of peace. Now you will see our peace. He gave an order. Outside in orbit, the Harmony hung still. A bright blue beam shot from a Krell warship. The beam hit the human ship. Metal twisted. Fire bloomed. In seconds, the Harmony broke apart. Pieces floated away in silence. The crowd made happy clicking sounds. They cheered in their strange way. Stephen watched the screen that showed the destruction. His face did not change. He turned to Vexthar. You destroyed an empty ship, he said quietly. You think that makes you strong? Vexthar leaned close. It makes us winners. Your world is next. We send fleets tomorrow. Then you have made your choice. The Krell dragged the prisoners away. They locked them in small dark cells. No food came for 2 days. Guards watched them all the time. On the 3rd day, Vexthar came to Stephen's cell. You still think you can win? He asked. Stephen sat on the floor. We do not need to win a war. We just need you to stop. Vexthar laughed again. Stop, we take what we want, always. He left. The door closed with a heavy sound. Far away, on the small probes, things had started. Each probe landed on an asteroid, or a moon, or a piece of space junk near Krell stations. They began to eat. They used the metal and rock to make copies of themselves. 1 became 2. 2 became 4. The numbers grew fast and quiet. Some probes moved closer to shipyards. Others hid near fuel depots. A few attached to the big orbital rings around the capital. No alarms went off. The Krell looked for big threats. They did not look for dust. Back on Earth, President Lisa Johnson received the last message from Stephen. It came through a hidden relay. The message was short. They took us. They destroyed the ship. The probes are out. We are alive for now. Do what you must. Do not wait for us. Lisa read it many times. Then she called her team. They have shown their hand, she said. Now we show ours. Admiral Robert Hayes stood beside her. The swarms are growing. Reports from our long-range sensors show small movements in Krell space. Nothing big yet, but soon. Karen Miller joined them. She looked tired but excited. The first wave has reached 10 million units. They are still small. In a few weeks, billions. They target weak points, power lines, fuel tanks, engine bays. Lisa nodded. And the kinetic rods? Ready, Robert said. Thousands in hidden positions. When the signal comes, they fly at high speed. No explosions. Just pure force. They looked at a big map. Red dots showed Krell worlds. Blue dots showed Earth's secret weapons. We wait, Lisa said. 1 more month. Let them feel safe. Let them think they have won. In the Krell capital, life went on. Ships came and went. Commanders planned the attack on Earth. They laughed about the small humans in their cells. Stephen and his crew stayed strong. They whispered plans. They shared stories of home. Daniel Torres sang quiet songs to keep spirits up. Brian Lopez told jokes even when no one laughed. One night, a guard left a small window open by mistake. Stephen looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, tiny machines were growing. Somewhere out there, long metal spears waited in the dark. The Krell thought they had crushed humanity's hope. They were wrong. The real answer was coming. Quiet, patient, unstoppable. And when it arrived, the galaxy would never forget the day humans said, "Do not test us." 3 months passed after the Harmony was destroyed. The Krell felt strong. Their fleets gathered near the human border. Thousands of black ships waited in perfect lines. Commanders talked of easy victory. They planned to take Earth's cities in days. They laughed about the small humans in their cells. High Commander Vexthar stood on the bridge of his flagship. He looked at maps and smiled with his sharp mouthparts. On Earth, people waited. Factories ran without stop. Ships hid in dark parts of space. Drones watched from far away. President Lisa Johnson walked the halls of the command center every day. She talked to workers, soldiers, and families. She never promised easy days. She only promised they would stand together. Admiral Robert Hayes watched screens that showed Krell movements. One morning he saw the signal. Small flashes appeared deep in Krell space. Not big explosions, just tiny lights. But many of them. "It begins," he said quietly. Karen Miller sat at her station. Her eyes were tired from long nights. She checked numbers on her screen. "The swarms have reached critical size," she said. "Over 3 billion units now. They are in position." Lisa nodded. "Send the order." Karen pressed a button. A simple code went out through hidden relays. It traveled fast and silent. Far inside Krell territory, the tiny probes woke up. They had grown quiet on asteroids, moons, and old wrecks. Now they moved. Some attached to fuel lines and cut them. Others climbed onto ship engines and jammed moving parts. A few found weak spots in station walls and started small fires that grew fast. The first alarms rang on a small Krell outpost. Workers ran to check. Before they fixed it, another alarm sounded. Then 10 more. Then hundreds. Lights blinked red across control rooms. No one knew what was happening. On a big shipyard near the capital, a swarm of probes reached the main power core. They ate through cables. The core failed. Lights went dark. Ships in dry dock lost power. Cranes stopped. Workers floated in zero gravity, confused. Then the kinetic rods moved. They had waited in deep space for months. Long metal spears with no engines, just speed from earlier pushes. Now they turned. Small guidance thrusters fired. They aimed at targets the probes had marked. The first rod hit a Krell battleship. It moved so fast no shield could stop it. The rod punched through armor like a needle through paper. The ship broke in half. Fire bloomed in silence. Crews screamed on open channels. More rods came. They hit shipyards, fuel stations, command centers. Each strike was clean and hard. Metal twisted. Explosions spread. Whole fleets lost engines and drifted helpless. Vexthar stood on his bridge. Alarms screamed around him. Officers ran in panic. "What is this?" he shouted. A technician answered in a shaking voice. "Small objects. Too many. They came from nowhere. They target everything." Vexthar looked at the main screen. His empire's heart was burning. Orbital rings around the capital cracked. Pieces fell toward the planet. Cities below sent emergency calls. Smoke rose from military bases. He turned to his second-in-command. "Send all ships to fight back." But many ships could not move. Engines were dead. Weapons would not fire. The swarms had done their work too well. On Earth, screens showed the chaos. People gathered in public squares. They watched in silence. No cheers, just quiet nods. Lisa Johnson spoke to the world again. Her voice was calm. "The Krell tested us," she said. "They took our people. They destroyed our ship. They thought we would break. Look now. They learn what happens when they push too far. We did not want this. But we will finish it if we must." In the Krell prison, Stephen Brown and his crew heard distant explosions through the walls. Guards ran past their cells. Some looked scared for the first time. Stephen smiled a little. "It's working," he whispered to Daniel Torres. Daniel nodded. They never saw it coming. A guard opened the cell door. He pointed his rifle, but his hands shook. "Quiet," he said, "or we shoot." Stephen stood slowly. "You do not need to shoot. Your leaders will call soon. They will want to talk." The guard said nothing. He closed the door again. Hours later, a message came to Earth. It was from the Krell High Council. Their voice sounded different now. No more clicks of pride, only fear. "We request talks," the message said. "Stop your attacks. We will listen." Admiral Robert Hayes answered. He spoke clear and slow. "You tested us," he said. "This is what you earned. Pull every ship out of our space. Never come back. Never threaten us again. Do this now, or we send more." Silence followed. Then another message. "We agree. Our fleets withdraw. We will not return." Robert looked at Lisa. "They mean it this time." She nodded. "Tell the swarms to stand down, but keep watch." The probes stopped. They went quiet again. Some hid. Some returned to rocks. They waited in case they were needed. The kinetic rods slowed. The ones that had not hit stayed still in space, ready if called. On the Krell capital, fires still burned. Ships drifted broken. Leaders met in dark rooms. They spoke in low voices. They knew their empire had cracks now. Other species watched. No one wanted to be next. Vexthar sat alone. His many eyes looked at nothing. He remembered the small human captain who had said, "You have made your choice." He had laughed then. He did not laugh now. Back on Earth, people started to repair what they could. Families waited for news of the prisoners. Ships prepared to bring them home. Stephen and his crew were released 2 days later. A small Krell shuttle took them to the border. A human rescue ship met them there. They stepped aboard, tired but standing tall. When Stephen reached Earth, crowds waited. They did not cheer loud. They just clapped. Quiet. Proud. He met Lisa Johnson in a small room. She shook his hand. "You did it," she said. "We all did," he answered. That night Stephen stood outside and looked at the stars. He thought of the day the Krell first appeared. He thought of the warning they ignored. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had spoken. And the words still echoed. "Do not test us." The Krell fleets pulled back slowly. Black ships turned away from the human border one by one. They moved like shadows, leaving a bright place. No more threats came over the channels. No more demands. Only silence. On Earth, people watched the retreat on every screen. Cities stayed quiet at first. Then small cheers started in homes and streets. Not loud like victory parades. Soft, tired, real. Families hugged. Workers in factories stopped machines for a moment and looked up. Kids drew pictures of stars with human flags on them. President Lisa Johnson stood on a balcony in the Capitol. Night had fallen. Cool wind touched her face. She looked at the sky where the Krell ships had once appeared on sensors. Now the stars looked peaceful again. Admiral Robert Hayes joined her. He carried 2 cups of hot tea. He handed one to her. "They are gone," he said. "For now," Lisa answered. "We must never forget that." Stephen Brown walked up behind them. He had come straight from the medical center. His face looked thinner, but his eyes were clear. He wore a simple jacket, no uniform. He had asked to be treated like everyone else. "Mr. President," he said with a small nod. Lisa turned. She smiled for the first time in weeks. "Captain, or should I say, Ambassador now?" Stephen gave a quiet laugh. "Just Stephen is fine. I am done with big titles for a while." They stood together and watched the city lights below. Cars moved slowly. People walked home. Life went on. In the weeks that followed, messages came from other species. Some were old neighbors in the galaxy. Some were far away. All said the same thing in different words. "We saw what happened. We respect your strength. We wish to talk trade, not war." Earth answered carefully. "No promises of friendship yet, only clear rules. Come in peace. Respect borders. Do not test." The Krell homeworld stayed busy in a different way. Repair teams worked day and night. Broken ships floated in orbit like dead fish. Leaders met in closed rooms. They argued. Some wanted revenge, others wanted to hide. In the end, fear won. They sent a final broadcast to every known channel. This is the Krell Dominion. We withdraw all claims beyond our current borders. We will not approach human space again. We acknowledge the cost of our actions. The message ended. No apology, no bow, but it was enough. Years passed. Earth grew stronger. New ships flew farther. Colonies started on nearby worlds. Children learned stories of the day the Krell came. Teachers showed old recordings. They pointed to Captain John Smith on the Endeavor, to Stephen Brown on the Harmony, to Karen Miller and her tiny machines, to Lisa Johnson's calm voice. The story became simple in classrooms. We showed them we were not. One evening in Washington, D.C., Lisa Johnson sat in her small office after she left office. She was older now. Her hair was fully gray. She kept a quiet life. Books filled the shelves. A single holo display showed the stars. A knock came at the door. "Come in," she said. Stephen Brown walked inside. He carried a small box. His hair had some white now, too. He smiled. "I brought something," he said. He opened the box. Inside was a piece of metal from the old Harmony. It was twisted and dark from the blast. Someone had polished one side. Words were carved there. "Don't test us," she said. Lisa touched it gently. "Where did you find this?" she asked. "Rescue teams pulled it from the debris years ago. I kept it. Thought you should have it," he said. She held it for a long time. Then she placed it on her desk, next to a photo of the Endeavor crew. "Thank you," she said. "About old friends. About lost days. About the quiet after the storm." Stephen looked out the window. "Do you think they will ever try again?" he asked. Lisa shook her head. "Not the Krell. Maybe someone new someday. Space is big, but we are ready. We stay ready." Stephen nodded. "That is the real warning. Not the rods, not the swarms. It's that we never stop learning, never stop building, never stop standing." Outside, the city hummed. Lights glowed soft against the dark. Somewhere far above, human ships patrolled quiet borders. Drones watched. Sensors listened. Factories made new tools, just in case. On a small moon base, Karen Miller taught young engineers. She showed them how to build machines that could grow and hide. She spoke in a calm voice. "These are not weapons first," she said. "They are tools. But when someone threatens your home, tools can become strong." The students listened hard. They took notes. They wanted to know everything. In schools across Earth, kids played games about stars. They built model ships. They laughed and ran. But in quiet moments, some looked up and thought about the old stories. One girl named Emma Brown, Stephen's daughter, stood on a hill with her friends. They watched a shuttle rise into the sky. "My dad was there," she said proudly, "when the Krell came." Her friends looked at her with wide eyes. "Did he win?" one asked. Emma smiled. "We all won, because we said no." The shuttle disappeared among the stars. The night stayed peaceful. The galaxy remembered. Traders came to human ports. They brought strange goods and new ideas. They spoke carefully. They never raised their voices. They never made demands. Ambassadors from far worlds visited Earth. They bowed a little deeper than before. They asked questions. They listened to answers. And always, in every meeting, the same quiet message stayed. Humans were kind when left alone, but do not test them. Years turned to decades. Stories became legends. Ships grew bigger. Science moved faster. Humanity spread gentle but firm. On quiet nights, old leaders like Lisa and Stephen met with new ones. They shared tea. They shared memories. They reminded everyone of one truth. Peace is good, but freedom is better. And to keep it, Sometimes you must show the galaxy what happens when you push too far. So the stars stayed bright, Earth stayed watchful, and the warning lived on.